There it is. Bam. And you say, God, this is
All Things Black with Garland and Calvin present Fanboys. Fanboys is a weekly breakdown of the sports world from a fan's perspective. Now, here are your hosts, Garland and Calvin.
All Things Black presents Fanboys.
Blocka.
I'm Calvin. That guy right there is Garland.
Yeah, man.
And we're here for another podcast. What's going on, Garland?
Feeling great. It's a Saturday morning, nice, bright, and sunny. Heading towards vacation. I got the tight haircut yesterday. My lineup is tighter than them tight suits that the young boys be wearing to church. And so, yeah, I'm feeling good, man. Got some laundry waiting for me after this is done. So, life will be life and as soon as this is over.
We are live on YouTube. So if you're joining us on YouTube, you get to see our pretty mugs. Everyone else, we will be on all of the podcast platforms. If you do watch us or listen to us on Spotify, you can actually watch us on Spotify. This video will show up. Everyone else, you just get to hear the voice. So, and Garland's right. Garland gets on every time he get his haircut, he jump on social media and be like, look at me. Look at me.
He just gonna hurt you, Golden Brown. That's what I be saying. He just gonna hurt you, Golden Brown.
Hey man, listen. This is a real quick message to somebody that's out there. We're gonna try to be ourselves because we heard you. We heard you.
We heard you, nation. We heard
you. What I mean?
All Things Black Nation. We heard you, fanboys.
We got the word that we was like, well, 95% of the people they think that the game should be this. We heard that. We was like, yo, that ain't even how you really talk.
Right.
Like, whatever, man. We get it.
He's swinging at balls out of his hip zone. All right, man. We heard you. We heard you, Fanboys Nation. We gonna get back to the foundation.
Foundation. And speaking of back to the foundation, I think I started earlier because I had some homework to do. And you ever go to school? Remember when you was in school, you would go you had your homework done and you'd be like, damn, what kind of excuse am I gonna get out of this? I got in trouble this morning, y'all, because
Calvin chose his wife over the show. That's how we're gonna start off with. He chose his wife over the show. Now, Calvin, let me show y'all how the soup is made. Calvin's the engineer, so Calvin does all the cutting, slicing, putting it together. And so that means I put the show together in terms of the topics and the intros and all those things, the questions. And so a lot of times I'll send Calvin the topics the day before, so he can do a little prep. And so one of the things we're supposed to cover today, I was like, yeah, make sure you watch at least episode 1. Be prepared to talk about this. And I got a text this morning talking about what happened was I wound up watching they cloned Tyrone. Like, dude, you supposed to prep.
Bro, they didn't clone Tyrone though. You had to watch that.
He wanted to see if Jamie Foxx was still alive. I know they talking about yes, Jamie made that before he went to the hospital, but it's Netflix. He could always watch that,
Hey man, listen. All I know is I had to choose between the wife and Garland. And Garland, last time I checked, you don't have dinner waiting for me. So I had to choose sustenance over substance.
You chose right, my friend.
The worst part about it is it wasn't even like he just sent it to me yesterday. It was like, watch this. Before we signed off last week, he was like, yeah, we can discuss it next week. Right.
He had a whole week, y'all. I didn't bring that up. He had a whole week to watch it. We talked about it last week. I'm like, yeah, man, go ahead, prep. We
talked about it at the baseball game we went to Monday.
Cal, have you watched the thing? Yeah, I watched the episode. Yeah, Y'all.
I watched quarterback though. We talked about
quarterback too. So it's the summertime. We looking for stuff to talk about. My man ain't even watching what we need to talk about.
Speaking of talk about, man, what we discussing?
Hey man,
And Wilt Chamberlain.
we're gonna start off with the first place O's. We're gonna talk some NFL with Daniel Snyder. He finally sold that team. We're gonna talk about running backs are big mad right now. They really, really mad. So they might need a hug. We're gonna talk Ravens signing yesterday. We're gonna talk about that little impact that it might have. College coaches, they still crazy, they still dumb, they still out here blaming people for what's going on with NIL. And Lane Kiffin's the latest dummy to say something. And then we're gonna go ahead and get to a little come on yo. So let's go ahead and jump back into it. All right, Baltimore, the Baltimore versus y'all whores, and that's our favorite shirt in Baltimore. And so the
I
Baltimore
almost wore
Warriors.
that this morning.
You almost
Close. I was that close.
Yes, the Orioles are tied for first place in the American League East with the Tampa Bay Rays after last night's 3-0 loss in Tampa. They started the day in first place for the first time after the All-Star break since August 15th of 2016. And so the Orioles, they were 6.5 back at the beginning of July. Now, recently, Calvin, local sports radio host Rob Long, friend of the show, he recently tweeted that Adley Rushman is a generational talent, but Gunnar Henderson is better. Let that sink in. Adley Rushman is a generational talent, but Gunnar Henderson is better. Unquote. So who's the better Oriole, Rushman or Henderson?
Whew. You know how I was a little down on Gunner at the beginning of the season because he was struggling, but lately he has been on fire. But it's really hard to say because Rushman has been so consistent since the beginning of the season. So I hear you, Rob, and for context, Rob knows way more about the Orioles than even I could ever imagine. Yeah, so he knows the farm system, he knows all of that. So I will defer to his expertise, but now for my eyesight, it's definitely Adley Rushman because he's more consistent. Gunner's just better right at this minute because he's on a hot streak. Now, with that being said, how about with both of them? The talk is Jackson Holiday may be better than both of those guys.
And that's crazy. And they say the guy Ortiz might be at the level of Holiday once he gets up to the big leagues. And so, yeah, Orioles are about to be real good for the next 10, 15 years, hopefully.
Yeah.
If they do this right. Right. I would say I agree with you. I think right now we're seeing a streaking Henderson. I know at some points last year and earlier this year, we were like, he might need to go down to Norfolk and work on some stuff. And, Adley has been pretty steady and solid since he's been here. He gives us the home runs. He gets timely base hits. His defense, I mean, not that he has a whole bunch of pass balls, but he's not throwing out runners. I mean, basically, you can steal on the Orioles. And I think with the changes and the holding the runners rule and all those things, it does give an advantage to the base runner in terms of stealing bases. But I would say I would go with Rob's assessment. I think Gunner is better. He's showing me, he's showing more pop in the bat.
Really is.
Consistently in terms of home runs. That's the thing that's getting me. And I didn't realize, he really does have, he has that first to third speed. I mean, I think we saw it Monday when we went to the baseball game, and people don't blame us. That's not why the Orioles lost to the Dodgers that night, because both of us were there. But he had that triple. I mean, and he got on his horse to right field, and really for most runners, that would have been a double for sure. And then the other play that he had the other night on Thursday night down in Tampa, where he took that extra base when Rosarina just tossed it back into the infield. That remind me of Pole so much. Remember how
out there
Pole,
lollygagging,
out there lollygagging,
lunching, like they say in DMV, out there lunching.
Polar had them earphones on playing left field. But anyway, that's softball stuff. We had to talk about that later. But yeah, and so he's definitely the spark. I mean, I don't think he's the leadoff hitter now. Cedric Mullins is not going to see that slot anymore. And I hope he comes back soon because they really need Cedric. But I would go with Henderson right now. I think Henderson is better, and we got Holiday that's might be here next year at the rate that he's moving, and so the Orioles are looking good for the next couple years. So people, go ahead, jump on the bandwagon, go get your gear, get ready because this is a competing team. The pitching's not all that great, and we know that. But that leads me to my next discussion point: should the Orioles be in the Shohei Ohtani discussion? Should we be in the sweepstakes for Shohei? Now, there's thoughts that the Angels, and I'm sorry, our favorite listener, I do have to throw this statistic out. I heard on I didn't research this, but I heard on TV the other day that the Angels have a 13% chance of making the playoffs. And so that means that the more that they lose, they might go ahead and make Shohei Ohtani available, and so they're tossing out a lot of teams, and the Orioles' name has come up a couple times. So what do you think, Calvin? Should the Orioles be in the Ohtani sweepstakes?
Well, first, let me go back with the Angels. The If the Angels feel like they aren't going to be able to re-sign him next year, and that's that's 500 plus million that they're talking he may get 600 million. If they don't think they're going to re-sign him, they're going to have to trade him because you can't lose a talent like that for nothing. You just can't do it. Just like the Orioles did with Machado, you've got to trade him. You got to get something for him. I think the Orioles should be in the sweepstakes, but not offer. We've heard a whole bunch of, and just you and I just talking with other people, we heard a whole bunch of different things where they should offer certain people and certain people are off limits. I just think they should kind of test the waters and kind of see, which I'm sure they'll probably do anyway, to the Angels, and just kind of see where the Angels are. Just kind of see if they say no, but if you give us somebody here on the farm system, we'll do it. Unless they start saying stuff like, you give us Gunner, we'll take. Then you're like, we're not doing that, because whoever picks him up, even if the Orioles pick him up, you still have to sign him next year to make whatever you've given up a valuable trade, unless you've given up something that you weren't going to really do anything with anyway. So I think they should be in the sweepstakes, but I think they should just kind of test the waters. And if something comes out of that, then jump on it. But if not, keep it moving. Right now, we have great chemistry. He can do nothing but add to it. I don't think he'll hurt the chemistry, but you can't give up what you already have for maybe a one shot, 1 year guy, or half a year rather.
This reminds me of the year that the Orioles, I think they had won the AL East. This is when Showalter was the manager, and they traded their top pitching prospect, Eduardo Rodriguez, for Andrew Miller to the Red Sox, just to rent Miller. Miller was like a left-handed reliever, just to rent him for the stretch run. And then he wound up signing somewhere the next year. And then Rodriguez, he's the ace on a Tiger staff that, definitely could have had here, maybe in Baltimore. And I don't want to rent a player for just half a season. I don't think Baltimore would ever give Ohtani the money that he wants. And so, more than likely he's going to end up in an LA market. I don't think he's going to stay with the Angels because the Angels are just not going to win. I mean, Trout can't stay healthy anymore. They really don't have anything there. I mean, the Dodgers will find some money somewhere. The Padres will find some money somewhere. San Francisco, which has a large Asian population, could find some money somewhere for him to come up to the Bay. Of course, the New York teams are going to be there waiting. The Mets,
That's what
the
I was about to say.
Yankees.
I think he'd want to go to the East Coast. You're on the West Coast, and that East Coast bias, people don't get to see him. I think he'd want to come to the East Coast.
Right. So I think there are a lot of high price teams, high market, big market teams that are going to pay him that money. And so you would have to give up a lot to get him just to rent him. And I don't think it's good. I mean, I would want to go after someone like Justin Verlander. Maybe if the Mets keep on losing, maybe Verlander, maybe Scherzer is available. You would have to give up a little piece for that, but I can live with that because
I don't
they're
know, but
signed
they
at
may
least through the
be.
next year.
Yeah, but that's what I was about to say. They may be 1 year rentals. Like, I want a guy that's going to roll with
Verlander
these
signed
young boys.
Verlander signed for an additional. I mean,
well, I'm not referring to their contract. I'm just referring to their
oh,
age. You know what I mean? Yeah, their age,
yeah,
and
but they're
you know
doing
the.
good. I mean, who won the Cy Young last year? Do you know?
I don't remember.
Justin Verlander.
Did he last year?
Yes.
Isn't he struggling this year?
He's struggling a little bit this year, but yeah,
This,
I mean, this guy still,
I don't know, man.
he's better than anything we got starting.
Well, this is true.
Yeah, he's better
this is
than anything the
okay.
Orioles has
Okay.
starting. And so, yes, yeah, he would be a market improvement over anybody. Dean Kramer, Kyle Gibson, any of those no names.
This is
He would
true.
definitely be the So, even Marcus Stroman. I mean, he's pitching well for the Cubs. I don't know if he's under contract next year. I think he's in his free agent. He's going into his free agent year. Maybe that might be motivation. You never know. Maybe you don't have to give up as much to get a Marcus Stroman as you would for a Shohei. So
We just need a starter that can eat up some innings.
yeah,
That's it. Just eat
yeah.
up some innings. Like,
And we need
jeez.
someone to bridge to the mountain. And I'm sorry, your boy Cano, he's not it anymore.
Hey,
Cano,
man.
the pixie dust is off of Cano.
What did I say last night? I told y'all last night we got a little pseudo group chat going on. I told y'all last night I might have to leave and get on this mountain train because I was a little skeptical about him because he puts on a lot of runners, but the dude he showed out Friday night. I mean Thursday night rather. He showed out. I can't front on him. 2 innings of relief. I can't front on him. So I
need to get off that Cano, Calvin, on that Cano, y'all. he nodding on that Cano. He need to let go of that Cano.
Pause.
Definitely pause, son. But yeah, Cano is not it anymore. He puts too many people on base and he gives up too many timely base hits. It's not.
Now, granted, Thursday night he inherited those runners, so
you got to hold them. That's why we bring you in there. This is what we're looking for the playoffs. We're looking for someone to give us at least 6 to 9 outs. True. And he couldn't do it. And he's been struggling with that for a while now. So, all right, now we stop beating up on your boy. That's Calvin, his nephew. So I don't want to beat up on him too much. All right, let's talk a little NFL. The owners approved a $6 billion sale of the Commanders to the Harris Group, and NFL owners voting during a special session on Thursday unanimously approved the team sale from the Snyder family to a group led by Josh Harris. Now, the Harris Group is paying $6.05 billion, a record sum for a North American sports franchise. And Snyder had owned the majority of the Commanders since 1999, and his family became the sole owners after he brought out his limited partners 2 years ago. Harris grew up in Washington, D.C. area, and his ownership includes NBA Hall of Famer Magic Johnson. Congratulations to him. And billionaire Mitchell Rales, who, like Harris, is from Maryland. Now, Harris, along with David Blitzer, as part of the Harris Blitzer Sports Entertainment Group, also owns the NBA's Philadelphia 76ers and New Jersey Devils. Harris is also a general partner of Crystal Palace FC in the Premier League, English Premier League, and a minority stakeholder in Joe Gibbs Racing. So he has his money in a lot of sports places. Now, also, this is goodbye to Dirty Daniel Snyder. Now, don't cry for Dan Snyder. Snyder, he brought the franchise in 1999 for $800 million, and he flipped it for a genuinely nice profit. Now, but he leaves a once proud organization broken. Outside of having more head coaches than playoff wins during his tenure, Snyder is leaving under a cloud of several investigations and with a $60 million fine after an independent investigation concluded he sexually harassed a team employee and that he withheld revenue from the NFL. So he was cooking the books as well. And so who should we be happier for? The Commanders fans or the NFL, who gets rid of a rapey tyrant owner in Snyder?
And as much as I like the NFL, so we're not happy for the NFL. Okay, fuck the NFL. I'm not a Commanders fan because I'm a long time Washington Redskins hater. It's that whole Baltimore DC thing. But I am happy for the Washington fans because when the Washington fans and the Commanders are in play, it just makes the games against the Cowboys, the Eagles that much better. You know, it makes even the rivalry that we have, the slight rivalry. I think they play a preseason game this year, and I think we actually play them next year. It makes that a little bit better. And they needed to get rid of Dan Snyder. I mean, he was trash, and it's crazy that he was trash because he was a fan. An actual fan of the team. He wasn't some guy from another area that bought the team. He's actually a fan. But you say he flipped a little profit. He went from 800 million to 6 billion. He got to pay the NFL like 67 million in fines or something.
They garnish a little bit of that six.
That's
million,
nothing.
I'm sure he's okay.
6 billion. Hey man, and plus let me tell you something. I saw a video where they had some go-go music going on, and they had Magic Johnson in DC yesterday dancing to the go on stage with the go-go band, dancing, celebrating Johnson being part owner of the Washington Commanders.
Was his daughter there? The big daughter? Was she there? Going to?
You mean EJ?
EJ was EJ. Use the right pronouns. Was EJ there? Going to doing come on, Mo. Yeah. I want to know if EJ gonna be with Mo.
I did not see EJ doing the butt at all, but he might listen. She might have been at the Waffle House at the
Waffle House.
Is it the Pancake House? I think it's the Pancake House. Is it the Waffle House?
We from Baltimore. We all know.
Hey, man.
Yeah, Young. She was down there, Young. Down there, Mo. She's doing a lot of Young and Mo's.
I mean, I don't know if people know this, but at one time, DC was like the gay capital of the world. So I don't know if people
I did not know that.
Yeah, at one time.
So.
Now
you know, Baltimore is the trans capital of the world.
Word.
The first trans surgery happened at Johns Hopkins.
I did not know that.
Yeah, when I was working for this community organization, quick break, y'all. We were dealing with an issue of trans prostitution around the train station. And they were like, wow, why are so many trans? And they said, you know, from research that a lot of trans identify Baltimore as a trans-friendly city.
My first encounter with sexuals was my dad lived on Calvert Street, and he had an apartment.
There you go. That's all you need to say. That's all you need to say.
Corner of Calvert and Reed was
right.
And then he had an apartment there.
And
that's transsexual.
He used to call me and be like, I motherfucking
whip it up,
stay for the round clock
at night.
So, and now like
middle school to then going into high school.
So just go to sleep.
And the women like they not know ever. They men they out here process. He was
moved out of there
not too long after that, but
he knows
on the steps.
It's the funny.
So
that's why that apartment was clear. That's why that apartment was available.
He did come down the steps, and he would open the door and be like, "Where's some motherfucking slippers while you in the house?" And where you hit, they be like, "Okay, Mr. Coles, we're sorry." Yo, I remember that. I remember, like, I hope my dad don't get into a fight with these. But when he moved out, they were actually really nice. They were like, "Do you need some help?" And he was like, "Nah, I'm good. I don't need any help." And then he said bye to him and everything. I hope y'all get whatever it is y'all was looking for.
Yo, that's Baltimore right there.
Hardwood floors. You didn't even.
As soon as you said Calvin Street, that's all I needed to know.
Calvin and Reed Street. I think that's the 900 block. I want to say it's the 900 block.
Calvin. It's like, oh, okay. I know exactly where that is. I passed it, y'all. That's where I know where it is.
We've all passed it. I mean, because not only was there
streets. I mean, Calvin's one of your main north streets.
Yeah.
You take on.
If you remember, anybody that's from Baltimore, down there by the courthouse, down there by the courthouse, by the Mitchell courthouse, the prostitutes used to be down there.
Yeah,
so when we were teenagers and in our early 20s, we all used to ride by there just to see the prostitutes. But there was a cutoff. And you ain't really know the cutoff until you saw the cutoff, because you get past a certain point on Calvert Street, then women start turning into men, and you know, then you had to loop back around if you wanted to see them again.
It was crazy because the police, when I was working for this organization, they had pushed it up effectively from the central district all the way up to the neighborhoods. I mean, they were, like I said, up around the train station. And so, so it was a major issue of that. But hey, that's a little history for y'all on transgender prostitution
in Baltimore. We're coming out with a book.
That. Hey, listener, you wasn't expecting that, were you?
Exactly. We're coming out with a book. It's going to be called Baltimore for Sale.
Right.
That's actually a good title right there.
Yeah, that is. That is. So
you never know what you're going to get. We can call it surprise bag, you know. Anyway, let's
call
keep
it
going.
Look at the Adam apple. Look at the Adam apple. Look at the Adam's apple. Look at the Adam's apple. Look at them hands and look at them feet. You about to catch it. You about to have a rude awakening when you get back to the apartment.
I just want y'all to know that I had stopped talking about it, and Garland kept.
We might not get that beer sponsor now. All right, and so I'm happy for the Commanders fans. I mean, I think absolutely, you know, just having all of that that turmoil, you know, really, you were a proud organization. Now, I never was a Skins fans either. Than us when we didn't have a football team, and because we're in that region, we had to get the Redskins game. I would say I was a fan for the playoff run when Doug Williams was the quarterback and they won the Super Bowl that year. But I was in college, and so that was more Black pride than anything else. I could care less about the Redskins, but it was just about, you know, Black man doing it. And so, I'm happy for them. I'm happy for y'all, Mo. I'm happy for y'all, Young. I hope y'all go ahead, y'all start winning, and, you know, and y'all don't have to be jealous about us, and y'all don't have to be saying all that little slick stuff out the side of y'all mouth because we winners. Y'all won't be us. I understand. We're consistent winners. We're consistent winners now. And, you know, because, you know, Calvin, you said a lot of this PG DC hate. They want to be doing the little videos trying to do the Baltimore talk, trying to get the do's and twos. That's not for y'all, Mo. Y'all stay down there. Stay with your Commanders. And y'all do that. Let us handle Lamar and them up here. All right.
And they don't realize that they have an accent of their own. They be saying stuff like, oh. They have a weird little accent of their own.
Weird little accents,
they kind of country. They like to call people Bammers, but y'all the Bammers.
Y'all stay down Berry Farms. We gonna go ahead over to the Dome. We doing our thing. We ain't worried about y'all. We love our little rat hole city. Just leave.
We really do.
We really do. We don't care about y'all. All right. And so, who's the worst owner? This is now, as a Baltimorean, I want to hear what you say. Is it Robert Irsay or is it Daniel Snyder?
It's absolutely Irsay. I mean, fuck. Whoa, hold on. Like, Daniel Snyder ain't even in the conversation with Irsay. Irsay met Donald Schaefer at BWR. Was like, I don't know where you're hearing that. I selling the Colts. The Colts are not over there. But next thing you know, they got the Mayflowers out.
The truck out there.
Man, fuck all Irsays.
I don't know that. This guy right here, he's causing all the trouble. Pointing at John Stedman. This guy right here, you report that next week. They pulling out, y'all. I think I was a junior or going into my senior year of high school when that happened.
It's clearly Irsay. Like it's not even close.
But yeah, Bob Irsay. It'll always be F. Bob Irsay. And
always.
Yeah, always. He made my childhood a living hell, and so my teenage years. Once they got past the Burt Jones era, when Ted Marchibroda left, and the Sack Pack and all that other stuff, it was like Mike Pagel, Randy McMillan. I remember when they had Mike Pagel, son. Come on now, you had to be a real Colts fan in the last days. Mike Pagel, Chris Hinton, they had the Elway pick, and they watched the 30-30 documentary on the Elway to Marino. I think that's the name of the 30-30 doc. And Elway's agent is talking about how they got the trade and everything, and Ernie Corsi, who was the GM for the Colts then, was talking about how they came up with the trade, and they traded that for Chris Hinton, Mark Herman. If you remember Mark Herman, I think he might have been, maybe Pagel was the starter, and he couldn't beat Pagel out. Curtis Dickey.
Curtis Dickey.
Dickey.
When we outside playing football, everybody was Curtis Dickey.
Yeah, Curtis Dickey. Lord Jesus. Horrible teams. Nesby Glasgow. Okay, so I'm just going down the old Colts that were horrible. Nesby Glasgow.
Curtis Dickey wasn't that bad. Curtis Dickey wasn't that bad.
For like a season or two. So congratulations to Magic, one of our, I would say, I don't think there has been an African-American owner in the NFL.
Well, we got remember the Broncos got a minority black woman owner.
It was a
Raiders. I think the Raiders now have a minority black female owner.
Okay.
I think the Raiders are part have one now also.
So Magic, it's good. Magic, I love Magic the businessman. More than I love Magic, the coach and GM. He's the man cut out for business. I mean,
he's
Magic,
cut out for business.
He's the man cut out. He has his toe. He's not cut out for no fun. Magic said, I ain't gonna be here. I'm like, well, Magic, what's gonna happen for the next draft? He said, when I heard her say that, I was like, I ain't gonna be here.
They said Magic got in that Lakers with Lakers. He got into practice, and he said the guys was all on their cell phones and everything. Right. And Magic was trying to tell him about the old Showtime Lakers, and they was basically like, Magic, man, fuck you and them Lakers. Fuck you and them old Lakers.
Magic, we're the hoes.
Yeah, we here now. Nick Van Exel and them boys was like, I ain't trying to hear that shit. We trying to win now and shit. This ain't the 80s.
In the words of Slim Charles from The Wire, the thing about the past, it's the past. And so Magic. Anyway, now, hey, bro, running backs are big mad. They mad as AF. They pissed. With the decision this week by the Giants, Cowboys, and Raiders to franchise their star running backs, Saquon Barkley, Tony Pollard, and Josh Jacobs, respectively, NFL running backs are crying collusion, and they're mad as hell, and they're not going to take it anymore. Derrick Henry tweeted at one point, he said, at this point, just take the running backs out the game. So what do you think has led to the demise, the devaluing, let's say that, not the demise, the devaluing of the running back in the NFL?
It's a good question, and I actually got that answer not too long ago, and it's just listening to sports, and it's so true. If you look at the past Super Bowl winners, most recent Super Bowl winners, none of them have had superstar running backs on the team. Right. And clearly you can get by with just average running backs. You do not need a superstar running back to make it to the Super Bowl. You look at your guys like Derrick Henry. They haven't been to a Super Bowl. They've made the playoffs. They haven't even been to a conference championship. Right. Who else? Even Christian McCaffrey has made the, but he has no Super Bowl ring.
Hey, bro, let's keep it local. I mean, the Ravens, the last Super Bowl they won with Ray Rice as the starting running back.
Exactly.
It's like a second or third round draft pick.
Exactly. And he was good, but he wasn't a superstar.
He was not a superstar.
So if you don't have to pay the money for them for the running backs, then and it's just it's just a trend that may change. Even if you look at fantasy football now, one of the things, I don't want to give you no ideas because
Yeah, keep
we
on
always
talking.
compete.
Let me get my
We
pen.
always compete in
Come on,
fantasy
man. This is for the
football.
show. This is for the show. This is
For
for
the
the show.
past
Right this
10
down.
years,
Right
it's
this down.
always been draft the running backs first. Now, starting even last year, but this year, you would be better served drafting wide receivers first. Wide receivers are getting more fantasy points than running backs.
Yeah.
Running backs can now go, unless who you would just worry about health injury. Unless it's a McCaffrey or a Henry, you could actually move to your second, third picks for running backs, maybe even fourth pick, just to get you an average running back that's just going to sustain you for a few points. But yeah, it's just the fact that teams don't need superstar running backs, so why pay them top dollar? Now I know you mentioned the Cowboys with Tony Pollard. Now I think Tony Pollard knew he was going to be franchised because he was the backup, and of course they let Elliott walk. But you just now let me back up. Also, with that being said, what are the Giants going to do? Because although you just need an average running back, there is a point where the running back is the catalyst on your team.
Sure.
Saquon is the reason that the Giants made the playoffs. So now what are they going to do if he decides to hold out and not sign this franchise tag? So, there's a whole different scenario for somebody like him. Somebody like Josh Jacobs, well, they did just get rid of David Carr. You know what I mean? So you don't know, maybe they can sustain without him, but I don't think the Giants can. The Giants are going to be in the cellar without Saquon, although they did sign the other day, what's his face? James Robinson. James Robinson probably be for him, but he ain't no Saquon Barkley.
Yeah, he's no Saquon. I'm gonna go all the way back, and I would say once we had the integration of the West Coast offense, you think about back to those 49er teams with Roger Craig and Tom Rathman and Ricky Waters, William Floyd. Those guys were not first round draft picks either. And although they were vital to the offense, you start to see kind of like, all right, we don't need a 1,000-yard rusher to be a competitive team. I think once we got, past this 6 yards in a cloud of dust type of thing in the NFL in terms of trends, then teams start opening up the offense. They start spreading the field. Then I definitely think in the Shanahan system, Shanahan showed that you can go get a third and fourth rounder, the dad and the son. Mike Shanahan was doing it in Denver with those teams, and Kyle did it in Atlanta, and he's doing it in San Francisco. I mean, they're just basically interchanging running backs and putting them into that system. We saw it here in Baltimore
with Kubiak.
Yeah, with Kubiak. The running back. What was his name? Justin. Was it Justin Forsett?
Forsett,
yes. Justin Forsett. And Justin Forsett, he basically came in and he was, I don't think he ever had 1,000-yard season before he was with the Ravens.
He did not.
He came in.
Didn't have one after that either.
Yeah. And so it's like, it really does start to show it's more system than you actually needed to spend that money on running backs. And so are running backs vital? Yes, they're a tool that can be used in the offense, and they've just been devalued. And so you have to. I mean, I think most teams most pundits were laughing at the Falcons this past draft because they took a running back in the first round because they had projected there were going to be no running backs taken in the first round in this past draft, and so they were the only team that took a running back in the first round, and so that value it's just not there. But it's only a couple $1,000,000. I mean, I'm not sad for you, Saquon, that instead of 5 you're only getting 3 million. I mean, you're still getting a couple million. So but we'll see. I think we'll see what happens with their holdouts if they decide to wait and not sign the tender and sit out the season, or only come back once the season starts. So, it's going to be a waiting game, and we'll see what happens with them. But that leads me to our next talk, the top 5 running backs of all time. And so we want to break that down, our top 5. And I'll go first because my friend, he he already shared with me. He had some prepping issues. We had a little interference last night from a spouse and all, and my spouse just snuck her head into the studio and told me something, and so
What's
they
up,
don't
Paul?
care. Yeah, they don't care. They don't care. They just, it's like, all right, you got your little thing. Go ahead, do your little thing, but don't remember this big thing, me. And so, top 5 running backs of all times. I start from number 5. Number 5, Walter Payton. I saw peak Walter Payton, and it was a running league then. I mean, it was not passing. Your quarterback was not throwing for a whole gang of yards. Wide receivers were, it was about 5 wide receivers that you really could name: Swan, Stallworth, maybe Drew Pearson, and somebody else. But it was a running league, and Walter Payton, he was just tough, man. He got those yards, but he really just beat his body up playing on terrible Chicago Bears teams. And then they had that Super Bowl run, and I think I've shared before. I hated the Bears in 1985 because I was in my freshman year in college, and my college roommate was from Chicago. So you could imagine the hell that I lived through for that football season. Number 4, Eric Dickerson. Eric Dickerson, and I'm saying number 4. Actually, these guys, it's no order, but it's my 5. Okay, and so Eric Dickerson, man, speed. Eric Dickerson was like a cyborg, man. I mean, he hit that hole, he was gone. He had the goggles on. He kind of ran upright, but Eric Dickerson was a beast again. He's a great running back. Never won a Super Bowl. Played on the Rams. Played for the Colts. But he played in playoff games, but never tasted that glory. But was a great running back. Number 3 for me, Barry Sanders. Again, another great running back on terrible teams. Barry Sanders, basically, you can just open up Facebook and there's like 1,000 reels on Barry Sanders playing all the time of, Barry making 20 people miss and, do this, that, and the other. He was a great running back for that team. And he just walked away. He's just like, I'm just tired of losing. I'm just tired of playing, and I'm just going to leave with my health. And so, but Barry Sanders was a beast in his day. Earl Campbell, number 2. Earl Campbell was power. Not only did he have some speed, he could get to the sideline. The Love You Blue, Houston Oilers, great team. Bum Phillips was the coach. Dan Pastorini was the quarterback. Mike Renfro, I think, was a wide receiver. I mean, they had some good teams. Robert Brazil was a linebacker on that team. They were very good. And when Earl Campbell would get that ball, and I remember watching a Monday night game. They were playing the Dolphins, and they used to have the tearaway jerseys. This is how they used to have a tearaway jersey where they could tackle you, and the jersey would just automatically rip off, and you can get a couple yards. I'll never forget with Joe Washington when he played with the Colts. He used to have holes in his jersey. He had to like change his jersey like 4 or 5 times in a game because of these rip off jerseys. And that happened to Earl. He got a ball and he hit the outside and he hit that corner, man. He took off. They couldn't catch him. Earl Campbell was a bad boy back in the day. And then finally, number 5 or number 1, Tony Dorsett. Tony Dorsett. Yeah, Tony Dorsett.
Okay.
Tony Dorsett with speed personified. I don't know if I wasn't necessarily a big Cowboys fan, but Tony Dorsett, man, you could not deny that talent, that speed. Again, I'm old. I was watching that Monday night game where he ran for 99 yards against the Vikings. Yeah, Tony Dorsett was just a beast in terms of speed. And he was everything that the Cowboys needed in that running back position. And so those are my 5: Walter Payton, Eric Dickerson, Barry Sanders, Earl Campbell, Tony Dorsett.
With the exception of Tony Dorsett, we pretty much have the same list. So
okay.
I'm not going to really repeat it, but let me talk about some of the running backs, and I'll give you 5 running backs that I've actually got to follow. When I'm watching football, and I've actually got to, even in fantasy football, things like that. Now, they're not going to necessarily be top 5. I do think Barry Sanders is the best running back of all time. I'm shocked that you had Tony Dorsett in there above Jim Brown. I thought Jim Brown may have made your top
and
five
I
too.
try to. I'm not that old.
That's the, and I that I get that I get.
Yeah, I've never seen Jim Brown play, and so
Okay,
I was trying to
okay.
stick to guys that I actually saw.
So let me, and that's what I want to do. Let me that I actually saw and actually followed, and this is going to be in no particular order. Definitely one of them would be Derrick Henry. I've never seen and the speed, the bruising power of an Earl Campbell. He has the speed and the size, and Derrick Henry has been very consistent. He's had a couple injuries past couple seasons, but Derrick Henry is just like a monster back there. He kind of reminds you of the Nigerian Nightmare, Christian Okoye, if you remember, with the Kansas City Chiefs. And remember, they had the backup Barry Word. The Chiefs
they had the big backs then.
Yeah, man. So give me definitely Derrick Henry. Let me go to Chiefs. I just mentioned Okoye and Word, but Priest Holmes. When Priest Holmes was in his heyday in Kansas City, there was nothing like it. After being a backup in Baltimore behind Jamal Lewis, they couldn't pay him both, so they let Priest Holmes go to Kansas City, and he took off. There was just never anything. I never seen anything like it. Roger Craig, man. I mean, of course, I didn't get to play him in fantasy, but Roger Craig kept them going, them feet going, them legs going. You watch Roger Craig, you just like, oh my gosh. Let me give you I mentioned him earlier, Christian McCaffrey. I'm gonna tell you, McCaffrey coming out of college. If you remember, his dad, Ed McCaffrey, said my son would have been drafted higher had he been a black player, something to that effect. No, not drafted higher. He would have gotten more respect had he been a black player. And you know, I was all over like, what are you talking about? He ain't even that good. I mean, he's decent. Yeah, Christian McCaffrey is that good. He is that good. He has that combination. He can catch out of the backfield and break tackles. He can run through the tackles. He can run on the outside. Christian McCaffrey is the real deal, and he may go down as one of the best ever. He may be having a Hall of Fame career. So I'll give him that. And I got to think of one more guy. I really don't want to say him because I've always been on the fence about him being in the Hall of Fame. But I can't deny what he meant to the team when he was there, and that's Terrell Davis. Terrell Davis, when he was with the Denver Broncos, was special.
He was.
I just don't know if his career was long enough to be in the Hall of Fame.
He's like the Biggie of the NFL.
Exactly. And I'm a Biggie fan. But exactly, like, was his career really long enough to warrant Hall of Fame? But when he was with the Broncos, he was just that special.
And you always got a debate system as well. You know,
right. And we talked about that. We talked about that earlier. And then, you know, you always got your guys like your Jamal Lewis's, your Marshawn Lynch's, your LaDainian Tomlinson's. You know, you always got those guys.
Let me ask you this one real quick. Top five or no? Curtis Martin.
No, top five. No, I would give Curtis Martin maybe top 20. I'll tell you who I should have mentioned that I didn't mention. That did I do 4? Maybe I did.
Did 5.
I did 5. I should have mentioned Marshall Faulk. Marshall Faulk was special with the Rams and with the Colts. Marshall Faulk was special on both teams. Marshall Faulk was a generational talent. Like he was just that good. So
definitely. All right, y'all. There's our top 5 running backs. And now the Ravens, as we about to exit from the NFL, they signed running back Melvin Gordon to a 1-year deal. So what does this mean for the Ravens running back room? What's your thoughts on that? I know a lot of people, they put J.K. Dobbins on the PUP list to start off training camp. You know, your thoughts on that, your thoughts about J.K., your thoughts about Melvin Gordon?
Yeah, so just like we talked about, all Melvin Gordon has to do is be decent. Like we just need him to be when he gets the ball, he just needs to be a threat. Now I believe he's been having problems holding on to the ball when he was in
He ain't
Denver
gonna last long if
last year.
he ain't
Yeah,
hold on to the ball.
he just got to hold on to the
Harbaugh.
ball. Say I think Gus is also starting on the PUP
Yeah, I
list.
think he started on the
So
PUP
they
as
have
well. So they
Justice
need some
Hill.
bodies.
Yeah, they
Yeah,
need, and that's all he was is a body. I mean, he signed for like $3 million,
yeah,
but
they need some
the JK thing we talked about, and it's like JK, like you talking about holding now, you always talking about this and that, you running your mouth, which everyone agrees with almost everything you're saying, with the exception of you ain't proved nothing yet, sir. Like you got to stop running your mouth until you actually prove something. We see the potential, and we absolutely agree. Had they given you the ball more against Cincinnati, they would have won that wild card game, but they didn't. You know what I mean? And you gotta you can be angry about it, but you gotta go into this year and be a beast, because even if the Ravens don't want to keep you or you don't want to stay with the Ravens, you can go somewhere else and sign for a big payday. But right now, you just have injury history, bro. So keep your mouth closed. And he's been quiet. I will give him that. He's been quiet ever since talking about possibly holding out. He's been quiet since then. But yeah, it just doesn't, I don't want to say doesn't look good, because when you're inside an organization and you make those decisions, there's a lot that goes into it that we don't know. It doesn't feel good as a Ravens fan and as a J.K. Dobbins fan to see him starting on the PUP list again for a second season in a row.
Yeah, I think they're being cautious, and hey, to me, I want Lamar on the PUP, I want Odell, I want all of your offensive
I'm with
skill
you.
players.
I'm with you.
I don't want to see nobody
I'm with
playing.
you.
I don't want to see. All I want to see is Snoop, and I want to see the third string quarterback Brown. That's all I want to see. That's all I want to see. I want to see the undrafted free agents playing. That's all I want to see.
They're only down to what, two preseason games now. We home in Philly, and I think we go to DC. What's the third one we have?
It's three. It's Philly, DC, and I'm not quite sure of the third one. Yeah, then it's not four anymore. It's just three.
But I'm with you. They should not play all. I don't even want one series with any of these guys. And I just
see any series.
And I understand you got to get ready for you got to get them ready for the season. They need to get ready for the season and practice. You want them to see live competition. Lamar has seen live competition before. These guys have seen, if there's one person that may need to see some live competition from the offensive side, maybe Zay. Because Zay is just getting into the NFL. Let him see the speed against these backups. Maybe run Odell out for a series. Don't throw him the ball. Don't throw him the ball, and don't make any run plays where he has to block. Don't throw the ball to his side where he has to block. Just let him run and get his legs under him and under a whistle. But
Calvin,
yeah, I'm with you, man.
I don't even want him. I want him in street clothes. I want him looking like Anthony Davis watching a game. I don't even want him in the Ravens warm-up jersey.
Same thing with Bateman.
Yeah.
Same thing with Mark Andrews.
I want to see them in their nice little fashions on the sideline, drinking a little Gatorade.
God damn it.
The people.
Don't even play Isaiah Likely, because he's our number 2 tight end right now. Don't even play him.
I don't want to see. I don't want to see him in the warm-ups.
Matter of fact, are they applying? I'll sign up for preseason. You can put me out there on the line. I'll take Ronnie Stanley's spot, because he better not be out there either.
Right. I don't want to see him. Eagles, Commanders, and Buccaneers for the preseason.
Okay.
All right, so let's go to college football. Hey, Lane Kiffin, look in the mirror. It's your employer's fault. And so at the SEC Media Day on Thursday, Ole Miss coach Lane Kiffin addressed the topic of the impact of the transfer portal and name, image, and likeness deals by calling the current state of college football a disaster. Although he's happy that the player, he better say that, because if the players think you ain't happy with it, I ain't coming to Ole Miss. Now, although he's happy that players can get paid, Kiffin said the unintended consequence of NIL is pay-for-play system, where players follow the money and teams with the deepest pockets get the best talent. Now, with the transfer portal, Kiffin says that free agency now exists, except that unlike professional sports, every college player can enter into free agency twice a year. with the spring and winter transfer windows. And so, who should Kiffin blame for the current state of college football? The universities or the NCAA?
It is absolutely the NCAA's fault. And let me we've talked about this before. These
Yes,
coaches, like, it's okay for the coaches to go to the highest bidder whenever they want to. It's okay. It's the kids start doing it. Now they complain. Now I watched this Lane Kiffin interview, and he gonna be sitting up there and be like, I'm not complaining because I'm really benefited from it. You are complaining, sir.
Right.
You're up there complaining. Blame the NCAA, because it really sounds like his issue isn't with the kids, although he's trying to make it that way. Your issue is with, if the NCAA and hold on. Also, let me say, there's always going to be issues when you first institute something. So they may need to tweak it around. So, this is still new. They may need to tweak it. But maybe you do need to make these college kids sign a 2-year contract with these schools. Maybe you do need to make them do that. Whatever the case. But stop trying to deny these kids the opportunity to take advantage of what's in front of them and what's available. The conversation you're having isn't a conversation for media. You're blaming the wrong people. That conversation should be with the NCAA. What can we do to not take away their opportunity to make money, but to make sure they stay at these schools at least 2 years? Because if you're a fan of any of the schools, and a prime example is Maryland women's basketball, which, by the way, I told y'all when they lost Angel Reese and they lost a couple other players, don't worry, because Brenda Freese knows what she's doing. Elite Eight. Y'all keep doubting Brenda Freese, the greatest college coach in Maryland history. Y'all keep doubting her. She keep losing these players. Y'all keep doubting her.
You being
That's a
sacrilegious.
sidebar. That's a sidebar.
You being sacrilegious. Greater than Gary Williams?
Yes, I told you. Remember, a couple years ago, I said she has the potential to be as good. I think she's better than Gary Williams right now. I think she's taken that program a lot farther than Gary Williams. Oh, well, they both won championships. She's taken that program a lot farther than Gary Williams took his program. But anyway, that's besides the point. We'll talk about that another day. Make sure you put that down as a topic. We'll talk about that another day. But maybe you do want them to sign 1 or 2 years, because if you are a fan of a school and you keep seeing your better players gone, or even your backup players that are decent, it's going to frustrate you. But it is what it is now. They're taking advantage of the opportunities in front of them. Also, let me say this to Lane Kiffin, and I hate to get political with these people, but it just seems like these college coaches lean one way. While he was talking, he tried to say, what if, and this is who he said, what if LeBron James was on the year? What if Lionel Messi was on the team for real? So you're going to soccer now because you're trying to make it seem like you worldwide. This dude holler, what if Asia Wilson signed? So now you worried about the WNBA, sir? Now you're using Asia Wilson? Stop trying to come there, because you don't care about the WNBA. None of y'all do. So stop it. Stop trying to act like you're talking to the people. Your issue is with the NCAA. Your issue is the players. The media day was not the forum for that. You should have talked to the NCAA for that.
I'm going to hit it in a different way, Calvin. It's the universities. I blame the universities. It's the employer. The reason why the universities knew this was coming, and the universities have been resistant. They're making billions of dollars, but they don't want to pay the players because they don't want to give them benefits. That's the issue. One time I was working for a nonprofit and was doing some work, and I was talking about, as this work expands, we need to hire some staff. And my executive director was kind of like, well, what's wrong with consultants? I was like, well, consultants are cool, but, we have a staff person. They're more, they're a little bit more dedicated. Consultants, they're just working off a contract. He said, but, in our bottom line, it's cheaper for us to pay consultants because we don't have to give them health benefits. And that's what it is, Calvin. The cost of paying for these players, the universities don't want to do it because they want to take the money, stuff it in their pockets, build these big buildings on campus. They want to do all these things, pay their presidents, pay their staffs, but they don't want to pay the players. And, if you really think about it, the NCAA does not control big-time college football. These universities broke away and they made the Power Five themselves. The NCAA didn't do that. The NCAA just enforces some rules. They're just supposed to be the enforcement arm of this. In terms of making the determination of who should get some money, it's down to these college presidents. And these college presidents don't want to pay these 18, 19, 20-year-old young women, young men full money that they're worth with benefits, with health insurance, with all of those things. And so it's not going to change until these universities say, okay, these are employees. I think that was one of the suits that the players were trying to have against college football, is that we want to be paid like a employee of the university. So we want the health benefits, we want those things. And the university is like, and we're seeing that across the country of now. That's why we have people on contracts when, contractual, you heard of contractual workers. When a person's on a contractual status, that means they're not getting health benefits. They're just getting paid a straight salary. And that's cheaper for the employer because they don't have to pay a pension. They're not paying into retirement, all of those things that cost. And that's what these universities don't want to do. And it's not going to change until the universities start saying, okay, we're going to pay them and we're in this. And they're fine. They're fine just because basically this NIL, that's a third party payment. That's them. That's the player going out and getting played on top of the table instead of under the table like they used to get paid. That's all NIL is. And so, yeah, I in terms of the transfer portal, I don't have a problem with it because, like you said, coaches can jump. I can come here 1 year, sign this deal, recruit your son, and tell your son I'm gonna be here for his college career, and then leave at the end of the season.
You don't even have to be the end of the season.
Yeah. I can.
They can leave before the season. Yeah,
I can leave before the season's over, and there's no penalty to me. I don't have to, And so I think that college players, yes, they should have that same ability. But in terms of pay, yeah, the universities they're happy with it. NIL don't bother them because it doesn't affect their bottom line. But if they have to start paying players, it affects the bottom line, and they don't want to do that. And so I don't think we're going to see an honest change until we see the universities step up to the plate and pay that money. And so, yeah, so interesting thing, we're going to keep on hearing about it. And, I don't think we're going to ever see it come into order into the universities and these other things. Maybe not in our lifetime. And so now we're at the favorite point of the program that everybody loves. Come on, yo. And so I started off last week. We're going to start off with Calvin this week.
Yeah, man. So, I hate to keep dumping on my Orioles again, but my come on, yo, was about to dump on them, but then I had to think about it. I was like, well, wait a minute. Maybe they're not. Maybe I can give them, instead of a dumping come on, yo, old slick ass come on, yo. Earlier this week, Monday, there were us, me, Garland, and two of our homies. We went to the LA Dodgers game in Baltimore, of course. Went to see the Dodgers beat the Orioles. Grand slam home run with 2 outs and 2 strikes, but that's another story. But we sat in this all-you-can-eat section, which has a little table, and you pay one price for the ticket, and you get all you can eat. Now, you're not getting crab cakes and any of that, but it's it's a pretty decent deal. You get some pork barbecue, just ballpark food, and sodas and all, and it's pretty decent deal. And if you got a family, it's pretty much the way to go because you'll be saving some money.
Definitely.
I was looking at tickets for other games. So our tickets, I won't give you an exact, our tickets were in the range of $50, $60. I looked at ticket section for a Yankees game, over $100. The Mets game, close to $100. The Chicago White Sox game, right around $40. So I'm like, at first, come on, Orioles, why are y'all charging more for people to see the better teams? But then I thought about the history of Camden Yards. Who goes to most of the Yankees games in Camden Yards? Yankee fans. Who go to most of the Camden Yards? Mets fans. Red Sox games? Red Sox fans. So what Baltimore said is, oh, well, if you bastards want to come down and watch our team play your team, you're going to have to kick out more money for these tickets. Come on, yo. Come on, O's. tax them. You listen, and you fly into Detroit, you got to pay the Detroit tax. If you're a Yankees fan and you come to Camden Yards, you got to pay that Camden Yard tax. Come up off that money. Or let me say it in your language. Come up off that money, done. Go kick the money out, done. Let's get all that money. Matter of fact, they should have charged more for actually, they did charge more for the Dodgers game because we talked about that. I was like, these tickets are a little more expensive than normal. You want to come from, bring your money to the store. Bring your money to the store. Come on. Let's go, Baltimore. Come on, yo. Baltimore is getting that money, and I'm not mad at Camden Yards. Now, granted, for us fans, it is going to cost us a little more to see those teams. But, you got to do some give and take. You Yankees fans want to flood out, pay. Mm-hmm. Red Sox fan, pay. How they say it? So when it's all said and done, and you come to the game, hey, this is a little more than what it used to be. Fuck you, pay me. I'm not used to paying this much for games. Fuck you, pay me. Give us our money. Come on, Camden Yards. Come on, yo.
But hey, they up there. They calling it Yankee Stadium South. That's how they were treating us, and so they were being disrespectful to us and all. And my wife just dropped off breakfast. I love you, sweetie. Thank you, boo. Anyway,
hold on. What?
Yeah, it's a little.
Let me. I finally got to do it. Men all over the world have been waiting to do this. Must be nice.
I ain't gonna mess with you. Come on. Madden player rankings. Now, in my younger years, I was a big video game player. I'm not a gamer per se, but I love the sports themed games like Tecmo Bowl. You couldn't tackle Bo Jackson in that.
Couldn't.
NBA Jam. I used to love playing that. That was just so fun. It was like a 2-on-2, and you're on fire. That's where we get that from. NBA Jam. And the Nintendo favorite, Double Dribble. Now, Double Dribble really wasn't like a real game, but if you knew how to master that corner three, you could be shooting that thing all day long. And then you had the ultimate sports video game, Madden, of course. And so over the years, I've watched the game grow from a little 8-bit title to a lifelike simulation game. I mean, sometimes you come into a place, you're like, yo, I didn't know a game was on tonight. Somebody playing Madden on the big screen, and it looked just like the game. And so visual transformation, the player ratings have also undergone a huge maturation process. And so every year, the people at EA Sports, who makes the game, releases the player rankings for each player for the upcoming season. And the rankings are based on the players' abilities, their skills, and they can change during the season as well. I want to say this, and I know a couple NFL players listen to our podcast and all, and I'm not going to tell you who they are, but I don't care about this. I don't, and it's a big thing. I mean, you got players like they want to fight people upset. Oh, he only got a 90 rating. Oh, he's only 75. Oh, he's got a. I don't care. Stop it. Don't post it anymore. Okay, it's a video game. I don't care if OBJ has a 90 rating with excellent hands. It's about if I can play the game or not. That's okay. So let's stop with this. Oh, he's only ranked this. He's only ranked. Oh my God. EA Sports dissed them because they only ranked them at 80. They put this. Who cares? I don't care. It's a computer generated game. All right. I might play it 5 times and then I'm gonna put it away and not play it anymore after I spent $50 on it. Or 60, whatever it costs now. You download it now. But come on, yo. Let's stop with this player rating stuff. Let's stop being upset about these player ratings. If you can't play Madden, I don't care if every player is ranked at 100. You still gonna get blown out by your little niece or nephew who's 15 or 10 or 12. Okay? I used to play with my daughter Destiny, and Destiny only had one play. She would throw a bomb, And I had to admit, I could never stop it. She would have the Colts and Manning and Marvin Harrison, and she would just throw a bomb every play. And I should have been playing better, but I just couldn't stop. I don't care. So these Madden ratings, let's I don't want to see them tweeted. I don't get mad at them. Just go out there and play and just have fun with the game. It's a game, y'all. It's a video game. Nobody cares.
Every now and then, both of us get on here. We show our obvious age, and right now, Garland, you sir are showing your age.
Yeah, I'm sorry.
The
old man screaming at the clouds.
The video game industry is a billion-dollar industry. You know, they house up kids and pay them millions of dollars just to play the games. So a lot of these people that get angry over ratings is because it's their team and they can make money. They make money playing these games. And if you're an athlete, let's say for K. Dobbins, for example, you don't think that Gus Edwards should be ranked higher than you, and maybe he should, maybe he shouldn't. But the rankings do make a difference now. These games are so lifelike now that if you have a guy, I'll just use the offensive line. If your offensive line can't run block but can pass block, then your running back is going nowhere. But your quarterback will be a superstar. So they do make a difference now. I don't play as much as I used to. I don't want to spend the money.
Cares about this.
I don't want to spend the money on the games. The games cost a lot of money, and they take hours and hours and hours to actually play and master. And I don't have that kind of time in my life anymore. And then I don't want to get online because then you got to pay monthly for it. I don't want to do all that. I just want to be able to throw in the disc and play by myself. If a friend or two want to log on and play, let's play together. But it is a big industry, and every now and then we show our age, and I see you, God.
I just need to go back to Double Dribble. I just need them. Can y'all update Double Dribble and just let us play that?
We used to sit in the bowling alley when Double Dribble was the actual arcade game, and it had two sides. We would be in the bowling alley for hours playing Double Dribble. Absolutely loved Double Dribble. And I'm with you. I'm in all the sports games. I used to play Madden for hours, but I always liked to just be the GM when you could trade and bid on free agents and stuff. The franchise mode, 20-year franchise mode, all that. It's a little different now. It's a little more intricate when you're looking at trying to sign players and the salary. It's not like it used to be. It used to be kind of basic. It's just it's crazy now. Now you can build stadiums, you can move the team, you got to decide what you want to charge for.
I used to love to change
concessions.
For the Super Bowl, I would have like snow, and
it's so real now. That's why so many people. That's why so many people are sports experts now, and they can give their intricate opinion. But man, you are an owner. You gotta you get fan approval about stuff, and just you gotta hire coaches, not just the head coach. You gotta hire the trainer and it's wild now, man. It's crazy. It's crazy. But man, that was another weekend. We did another Saturday. As Garland said, I'm gonna go edit this. It's Saturday. Y'all might get it today. Y'all might get it tomorrow. But I'll make sure y'all don't get it Monday. Let me not say that because I mess around and we get to watching another movie. Plus I said it must be nice, so I might be in trouble. So y'all might not get this till Wednesday. But
he might be ready for next week's episode because he was talking kind of reckless. So I think we'll be watching Goliath in the coming days.
Hey, make sure you continue to join us. Like I said, if you're watching us live on YouTube, we thank you. This will be on YouTube on our YouTube channel. You can see our pretty faces on Spotify, but on all the other podcast channels, you'll just hear our great voices. And August 4th, the Shy begins again. So we will start broadcasting our Shy breakdowns after that. Yeah, did you see the trailer for it? The trailer actually looks pretty interesting. It looks interesting, man. Listen. I'm telling you, it looks more interesting than the previous years. The trailer looks good. Yeah. You think Lena's sucking me in? Oh, she would say pause on that. Lena would say pause for that.
Right. Stud Nation, them stud babies. You better stop playing with me.
Lena would be like, pause. But yeah, we're gonna start broadcasting that. Man, let me get out of here before I get into some more trouble.
Thank you, honey, for breakfast. Royal Farm. I got the little Royal Farm breakfast sandwich. Thank you, sweetie.
Yep. Mine is coming. Let me just hit this outro right now. I'll tell you right now, I'm trying.
Remember, look at the Adams app.
You have been listening to Fanboys, an All Things Black with Garland and Calvin production. Thank you for listening, and make sure to rate and review this episode on all of your podcast